السلام عليكم. Please give us one moment, inshallah. The class will commence, bismillah. Just waiting for Sheikh to be available. We're just probably having some technical difficulty on his side. Salam alaikum, Sheikh.
I've made him co-host again. I think we lost him initially.
Okay. I think he's back now. Salam alaikum, Sheikh. Why this Sheikh is our Sheikh is to save time when he's back. Nah, I think he's with us now. Now, the hadith we'll be treating today with Sheikh as our practice, we read the hadith, and that signals the commencement of the class. As we're waiting for the Sheikh, I can do that, so we'll just go straight to the lecture, inshallah. He's back again, but a moment, I can make him call us one more time. نعم جزاكم الله خير.
بارك الله فيكم.
حياكم الله.
الله يحييكم.
نبدأ أستاذ.
نبدأ إن شاء الله ببركة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى. عفوا, you're going to read the hadith first.
No problem, Ustaz.
Okay, إن شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
نعم نبدأ. You could begin inshallah ta'ala by reading the hadith that we're going to be covering today inshallah.
نعم. عن أم المؤمنين أم عبد الله عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أحدث من أمرنا هذا ما ليس من فهو رد. رواه البخاري ومسلم. وفي رواية مسلم من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد.
Now, the hadith we're going to be covering today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as in read, is a hadith in which is mentioned that عن أم المؤمنين أم عبد الله عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. رواه بخاري. وفي اللفظ مسلم وفي رواية مسلم من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد. It is mentioned that the mother of the believers, Abdullah, the mother of Abdullah, Aisha radiallahu anha, said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa rad. Whoever introduces or invents in this affair of ours that which is not from it, will be rejected. And in the wording of Muslim, in Sahih Muslim, it says, Man amila amalan, whoever does an action, laysa alayhi amruna, that is not upon our affair, it's not upon our affair, fahuwa raddun, it is rejected. The way we're going to go through this hadith is, number one, by giving a brief overview or brief explanation of the whole hadith. After a brief overview of the hadith, we then go into the hadith, through the hadith in a detailed manner. So we've already read the translation of the hadith, which is whoever invents in this religion or in this affair of ours that which is not from it will be rejected. So firstly, a brief overview of this hadith. This hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it covers mas'alatain, two important topics or two important issues. The first of those issues that this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam it covers is found in the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha," whoever invents or innovates in this religion of ours. This issue, the first issue, is covered in the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second issue is covered in the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَهُوَ رَدٌّ, it is rejected. So what is the first issue? The first issue in the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man ahdatha fi amrina hada, whoever innovates or brings a new affair in this affair of ours, it covers the topic of haddul bid'ah, what regulates or stipulates a thing being a bid'ah and innovation. So when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, man ahdatha fi amrina hada, this is the stipulation of bid'ah. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ahdatha. What is ahdatha? Ihda'u shay. Is to invent a newly invented matter. Ijadu shay lam yakun, to bring about an affair that wasn't. So therefore, ihdath, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever invents, it gives us the stipulations of what makes something an innovation. And that which makes something an innovation, according to this hadith, are four things. Number one, to invent or bring about something that has no basis at all in the region of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, the fact that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, fi amrina, in this affair of ours. This affair of ours refers to what? Our sharia and our religion. That bid'ah, innovation, fi deen, wa laysa fi dunya. Innovation, the stipulation, regulations of innovation, bid'ah muharrama, the bid'ah innovation which is permissible is in what? It's in deen and not in worldly affairs. So therefore, when you say to somebody, this is a bid'ah, this is an innovation, therefore impermissible. It's all about your mobile phone. Is that not an innovation? Your car, is that not innovation? Your smartwatch, is that not innovation? La. The stipulation of bid'ah is fi deen, in religious affair and not in the dunya. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, Fi amrina, in this affair of ours, meaning religion. Number 3, from the things that stipulates a thing from being an innovation is أحداث في الدين ما ليس منه, to bring into the religion that which is not from it. And number 4, what stipulates a thing being a bid'ah is أحداث شيء مما ليس منه بقصد تقرب, to bring into the religion that which is not from it with the intention of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the first mas'ala. This is the first issue covered in the hadith. And that first issue is what regulates a thing being a bid'ah. When the Prophet said, Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha, the regulation of bid'ah is what? Bringing something new that never existed. Number 2, innovations in the religion and not in the worldly affairs. Number 3, adding something to the religion that which is not from it. And number 4, doing something that has no basis or added with the intention to get close to Allah Ta'ala. The second issue concerning this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is found in his saying, فَهُوَ رَدٌّ, it is rejected. The issue that's covered there is حُكْمُ الْبِدْعَةِ, the rule رَدٌّ, it is rejected, meaning غَيْرُ مَقْبُولَةٍ, it is not accepted at all. So if it's not accepted, what's the rule of bid'ah? You could type it. What's the rule of bid'ah? Because in Islam, we have ahkam al-khamsa. We have 5 rulings. What's the rule of bid'ah?
Haram.
Jazakallah khairan. Abdul Wahab and our host, Abu Abdullah, said haram. What is the proof that is haram? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it's rejected. What is the proof that it's haram?
Something that's not accepted.
Jazakallah khairan. MashaAllah. Qa'ida muhimma jiddan. Anything that's not accepted or is rejected, is hukum is what? Is haram. Jazakallah khairan, Abu Abdullah. Because a deed, imma mashru' is either something which is legislated, therefore accepted, or غير مشروع, or something which is not legislated, therefore rejected. So hukm al-bid'ah, the rule of bid'ah, because it is rejected, is that it is haram, it is impermissible. And bid'ah min akbar, from the biggest muharramat, from the biggest things Allah Ta'ala has made haram. In fact, bid'ah, innovation, is the biggest of the muharramat after shirk, associating partners with Allah. And that is why when you find people that reject bid'ah, speak against bid'ah, you find, or people of bid'ah, you find people say, why are you being so harsh? Why do you always speak against bid'ah? But yet, if this same individual was to speak about ills and vices in the society, such as zina, adultery, fornication, drinking alcohol, or other forms of intoxicants, or stealing, people say, what a praiseworthy thing. But the biggest from the muharramat after shirk is bid'ah. So one of the greatest obligations upon a person in enjoying the good is to enjoy the sunnah, and forbid the evil is to forbid al-bid'ah. So therefore, the 2 mas'ala covered in this hadith are what? Number 1, what regulates a thing being a bid'ah? When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha," whoever invents in this religion of ours. This is the first issue that's covered. And the second issue that's covered is what? Hukmul bid'ah, the ruling of innovation in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another narration, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man amila amalan," whoever does an action, laysa alayhi amruna, that is not built or founded upon our affairs. This hadith, or this particular narration, is more general than the first, because this particular narration, it covers 2 issues. It covers the issue of that which has been added to the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, and another issue, that which is in contradiction to the Sharia. An example of that which is added to the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal is bid'ah, innovation. And that which is in contradiction to the Sharia, issues of sin, such as what? Such as what? Such as drinking alcohol, for example. So the second hadith, or the other version of hadith, is more general. And bid'ah, my dear brothers and sisters, are of different types. There's al bid'ah mubtakara, bid'ah which is invented. It has no basis in the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla at all, zero basis at all. And there's bid'ah idafiyya, that which is as a basis in the Sharia of Allah. There's a basis for it. However, a person does that deed with a stipulation or regulations which is not found in the Sharia. For example, it attaches that act of ibadah, act of worship, which has a basis to a particular time that has no proof, to a particular place without any proof, in a specific manner without any proof, at a specific time without any proof. This is bid'ah idafiyya. For example, you sneeze. What do you say when somebody says, Yarhamukallah? You say, Alhamdulillah. If you go on to say, Alhamdulillah, hamdan kathiran wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, to do salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, does he have a fundamental? Does he have a basis? Yes, it does. Is it a good thing? Yes, it is. But doing it every time, or doing it when you sneeze and somebody says, Yarhamukallah, it's a bid'ah. You've added, or it's an addition in bid'ah. So this is a brief outline of this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for the hadith in detail, it says, "An Ummul Mu'mineen," on the authority of the mother of the believers, the mother of Abdullah. So here we find two kunya. Kunya in Arabic is a title given to somebody as the father of or the mother of. For example, our host today is Abu Abdullah. That's his kunya, because his son's name is who? Abdullah. Or Abu Abdullah Sulaiman. His kunya is Abu Abdullah because his firstborn is Abdullah. I am Abu Haneefa because my firstborn is who? Haneefa. It's a kunya given to somebody. But here it's a title given to somebody. But here we have two kunya for the narrator of the hadith, which is Ummul Mu'mineen, the mother of the believers, and also what? Abdullah. As for the kunya Ummul Mu'mineen, this is a title for the narrator of the hadith because she's one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are mothers of the believers. As Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ahzab, وَأَزْوَاجُهُ, the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ummahatuhum, they are the mother, their mothers, I mean the mothers of the believers. Therefore, Aisha radiallahu anha is our mother. Hafsa radiallahu anha is our mother. Hind radiallahu anha. Who is Hind? Who is Hind? From the wives of the Prophet. Who is Hind? Anyone know the answers to that? Because we should know the names of our mothers. Who is Hind?
Hind was the wife of Abu Sufyan.
La. Hind is not from the... La. Not this Hind. We're talking about Hind. I said she's the mother of the believers. The mother of the believers are who? The wives of the Prophet, not the wife of Abu Sufyan.
Someone said bint Abu Sufyan, yani.
La. Barakallah fika ya Haneefa. MashaAllah, you made your father proud. Salama. Her name was Hind. Her kunya is Salama. Salama, her name was Hind. If these are the mothers of our believers, we should know what our mothers are. It shouldn't be an issue for us to know all the names of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the same way, we know the whole squad of a football team, which is made of 11. We should at least know the names of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our mothers. Tayyib. So Aisha is our mother. So in the same way, any one of you, whether your mother is a Muslim, righteous Muslim, bad Muslim, or even a non-Muslim, you'll be highly insulted or offended if I was to insult your mother. So what about those who insult the mothers of the believers like the Shia? How could there be unities with people like the Shia that insult Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha? There could be no unity with the Shia on the basis of this. And that's why Imam Malik rahimallahu ta'ala used to see it as an obligation to make hijrah, to migrate from a land in which the companions of the Prophet ﷺ are being insulted. Not to talk of a land where they're insulting the mothers of the believers. So she's given this kunya for this reason, the mother of the believers. Other kunya is Abdullah, the mother of Abdullah. Did she have a child or son called Abdullah? Some ulama say yes, but the child, Abdullah, died due to a miscarriage. And some of the ulama, they say no, she didn't have a son called Abdullah. She had a nephew named Abdullah, but they say she was called Abdillah because he's the most beloved in the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. And also, a person could have a kunya, you don't have to necessarily have a child. And some ulama in the past, they had kunya, but they didn't have a child. And a kunya is not always representative of a child that you may have. So some people have a kunya and they have all girls, but his kunya could be Abu Muhammad, for example. Now, as for her name was Aisha, the mother of the believers, Aisha bint Abi Bakr, the daughter of Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And as we said, the Arabs, they have al-ism, they have kunya, and they have al-laqab. They also have a nickname. What was the nickname of Aisha radiallahu anha? We've covered this before, I think. What was the nickname of Aisha radiallahu anha?
Aish.
Naam, mashallah ta'ala. We have some brothers here, mashallah ta'ala, that believe in practicing sihrun halal, the halal sihr from the sunnah. But the shortening of Aisha in Arabic as a du'aba, a pet name, would be Aish. That's a shortening. So if you have a daughter or wife, you call Aish as a shortening. Because the Arabs, they have a way they shorten a name. For example, the shortening of Ismail is what? Huh? No guesswork. The shortening of Ismail is Sum'ah. Sum'ah. So the Arabs up to today, they have this Abdul Aziz, they'll call him Azuz or something like this. But the nickname of Aisha, this is just a shortening, Aish, but her nickname was Humayra, the mother of Humayra. What does Humayra mean? Humayra is something which is red. Aisha radiallahu anha, when she becomes angry, her cheeks will go red. So the Prophet ﷺ called her Humayra, the mother of red. Naam. Tayyib. So this is Aisha radiallahu anha, was one of the greatest of the muhaddithin, the scholars of hadith, and she was a faqih. She was a scholar of jurisprudence, radiallahu ta'ala anha. It is said that she said, Man ahdatha. This word or this letter, man, in the Arabic language, man, what does it mean? Man has a number of meanings in the Arabic language. The word man could mean woo. So you say man, it could mean woo. And also, man is not only istifham, it could be shartiyah. It could be conditional, meaning whoever, whomsoever. For example, the saying of Allah Azza wa Jal, that وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ. What does that mean here? Does it mean and who? Or does it mean and whoever fears Allah? Whoever fears Allah. So man here is shartiyah, conditional, meaning this hadith is a conditional sentence. And in Arabic, when you have a conditional sentence, you have what? You have shartiyah, arf, you have what? فعل الشرط وجواب الشرط. You have the action, the conditional action. And what is the conditional action? That whoever invents in this religion of ours. And what is jawab al-shart? What is the consequence of that condition? Is فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. It is rejected. So this is a conditional sentence here, that whoever invents in this religion of ours, this is the action. فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. It is rejected. رَدٌّ مَرْدُودٌ. It is rejected. Now, what if a person does a deed that is not upon our affairs or from our affairs, meaning from the deen of the Sharia? However, the person was sincere, meaning the person did it sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the orders of Allah. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. They've not been ordered except to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being sincere to Him in religion. It is still rejected. Because in order for a deed to be accepted, it has to have two important conditions. Ikhlas, sincerity, but not only sincerity, al-mutaba'a. It has to have compliance and following the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why some scholars say, هذا الحديث. This hadith we're studying today, even with the shortness of the hadith, it is, some scholars say this hadith we're looking at today is nisfuddin, half of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some scholars, they say that Islam, it revolves around 4 hadith, as wide and as vast the knowledge of Islam is. And one of it is this hadith, to show that this hadith min usul al-kibar al-'idham, from the great principles or fundamentals of our religion. So it is rejected, no matter how sincere the person may be. And as we mentioned, man amila amalan laysa alayhi amruna. The other narration, whoever does an action which is not upon our affairs, it is more general. Meaning, whether that action is an act of ibadah, whether it's an act of mu'amala, dealings or transaction, or so on and so forth, that's not upon the affairs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is rejected. Now, after looking at this hadith in detail, first we'll cover the hadith briefly, which I'm going to ask you questions about, inshallah ta'ala. When we finish the brief explanation of this hadith. Actually, before I continue, I want to ask. We said when we looked at the hadith briefly, it covers 2 issues. And what are those 2 important issues? What are the 2 points? Because this reminder is going to help us in covering the answers on the hadith. What are the 2 important issues?
Ustaz, should I leave the floor for people to answer?
Give them 10 seconds and then you answer.
Sure.
This one is important. It's very important to take notes.
We have the question. Could you repeat the question? Some people are having
the question is, we said the way we look at this hadith briefly, number 1, and the brief explanation of the hadith, we said this hadith, it covers 2 important topics and issues. And what are those 2 important topics and issues? And not only these important topics and issues, which part of the hadith covers which topic? Naam, Abu Abdullah. The first topic is number 1, Haddud bid'ah, regulations of bid'ah. What regulates things from being an innovation? Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man ahdatha fi amrina hadha, he brought the regulations. Whoever invents in our affair, meaning the regulations of bid'ah is to bring something that's not from the religion. The regulation of bid'ah, when it said in our affair, is something in the religion and not in worldly affairs. The regulation of bid'ah is to bring a newly invented matter with the intention to worship Allah. The second topic that's covered is the ruling of bid'ah. And the ruling of bid'ah is in the saying of Prophet for raddun. It is rejected, meaning it is haram. Then we cover the hadith in details, beginning with the kunya of the mother believers, the jumla shartiyya, conditional sentence. Now we look at the fawaid, the benefits of the hadith. The first benefit of the hadith is tahrimu ihdathu shay fi dinillahi azza wa jal. The impermissibility of inventing or bringing a newly invented matter in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, walau an husnil qasd, even if it's with a good intention, even with the best of intentions. Even with the best of intentions. Why? Because acceptance of deeds relies on 2 things. Good intention, and according to the hadith, accordance or compliance to the sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now here's a question. What if somebody was to ask? What if somebody was to do something which has a basis in the sharia? It's a question based on what we covered briefly from the hadith. This thing has a basis in the sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he's done it ala sifa mu'ayyana. He's done it in a specific manner that has no basis in the sharia. This particular thing, it has a basis in the sharia. له أصل في الشريعة ولكن على صفة معينة لم يأتي به الشرع, in a specific way which the sharia has not come up with. Will this still be rejected by Allah Azza wa Jal? Therefore, would it be haram? I hope you understand the question. It has a basis in the Sharia, but it's done in a manner which, na'am, barakallah feek, it will still be rejected.
No.
It will still be rejected. Why is it going to be rejected? For now, for those who haven't been taking notes, I want you to take notes. We've been doing this particular 6 principles for a very long time. It will be rejected because any deed to be accepted has to be in accordance with Sharia in 6 issues. Abu Sumayya Habibi, Naam, Abu Muhammad, and the rest of the brothers, take notes on this. The first of those issues is موافقة للشريعة موافقة للشرع. He has to be according to Sharia, يوافق الشريعة. Number 1 of these issues are, number 1, the reason. The reason which you're doing it. In these 6 issues. Number 1, as-sabab, the core reason or the cause. Number 2, the type. Number 3, the amount or number. Number 4, the way you're going to do the act of worship. Number 5, the time of the act of worship. And number 6, the place. So as an example of number 1, we said in terms of the reasons or the cause. For example, a person remembers the Battle of Badr. So therefore, he said he wants to have a Eid. And bear in mind, when you say to people, we only have 2 Eids in Islam, they will say to you, no, this is a remembrance. This is an anniversary. It is not a Eid. Call what you can or whatever you want to call it whatever name you give it. But the Sharia has a ruling. So al-haqiqah, the reality of things is not by the name you give it to them, it's by the reality of the Sharia. For example, alcohol has many different names. Usury has many different names. But the reality of having an occasion yearly, monthly, weekly, every 10 years, it is a Eid. Because the word Eid, it comes from that which is often repeated and done. So they say, you know what, just remember the Battle of Badr. Every year, we have a festival to remember the Battle of Badr. Don't even call it Eid, but in reality it's a Eid. It is a bid'ah, even though the reason behind it, it may be good. But that reason for having an Eid, does it have a base in the Sharia? It has no base in the Sharia. Likewise, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid our brothers in Palestine. That which people are doing nowadays, where they say, let's do Sawm al-Jama'i, unified fasting, be it on a Thursday or Monday. And people send me messages and they find people who say, oh, it's okay. Nowadays, you could find someone that tell you everything's okay. But do you know the Sahaba to have ever done this? It has no base in the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal to fast together. Or people say, let's do Qiyam al-Layl at a unified time. Qiyam al-Layl is not legislated except when? Unified in Ramadan. So even what some masajid they do in the UK, that they have this retreat once in a while, Qiyam al-Layl, it's not from the Sunnah. Okay, so number 1, the reason. An example of number 2 is according to the Sharia in times of its type. For example, when it comes to Eid al-Adha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered us to slaughter min bahimat al-an'am, from what? Cattle. What if I decide for Eid al-Adha, I want to sacrifice for Eid al-Adha something more expensive than a goat or a cow or a camel? I want to sacrifice a horse. What's more expensive to sacrifice, a goat or a horse? A horse. Are they both halal? They're both halal. But can I sacrifice a horse? No, I can't. Because the type it has to be is from cattle. Another example, in terms of the accordance, in terms of its number. For example, al-wudu, making wudu. When I'm making wudu, can I wash the limbs 4 times? I can't. It has to be 3, 2, or 1. Now, if I'm in doubt, have I done 2 or have I done 3? What should I do? Should I do an extra one or leave it as 2? Just in case. You leave it as 2 just in case, because a ziyada will be that which is impermissible in this case. Number 4, it has to be called Sharia in how you do that particular action, the attribute, in the manner which you do that particular action. For example, wudu again. Can I start with washing my head? What do you start with when you start wudu?
Your hand.
Now?
Hands.
Now.
Hands
What's the ayah
first.
wudu?
What do we start with? What's the question? Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz.
No. I'm saying when you start
Yeah, from the hands.
I can't even see from it. When you start this, what's the ayah to wudu? One thing to delete. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila salah. No, I don't want to. Barakallahu feek, Abdul Rahman. We have to do things with evidence. إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا ماذا? What's the first thing?
وجوهكم.
Barakallah feek. So you start with the face. And this is a mistake many people make in wudu. You start with your face. The washing, or what people think is the washing of the hand, that's not part of wudu. In the time of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to make wudu min ina'in, from a bowl or from a bucket. So in case their hands were not clean, they'll just wash their hand quickly. But that's not part of the wudu. Please don't get that part of the wudu. And then they start with the face. Wujuhakum wa aydikum, and then your hands. Now the mistake many people make is when it comes after the face, they'll wash from here to here. They'll start from where? What's this called again? The wrist to the elbow, thinking they've washed their hand already. No. When it comes out, you start from here all the way to your elbow. Okay? You start after your face from the hands to where? The elbow. That hand washing you do in the beginning is just to wash your hand before you dip it in a pocket. But even if you want to, for example, you don't know it's impurity in your hand, just go to the side. But that's not part of the wudu. Allah starts with the what? With the face. Okay? With the face. This is very important. You start with your face. You don't start wudu with your hand, as many people think. They'll wash their hand, then they wash their face, then they wash their from wrist to here, thinking this is wudu, from the wrist to lap. When you're washing after your face, it's from the hand to the elbow. Because Allah said, وَجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, from the hand to where? The elbow. This is a mistake many people make. When you ask them, when you start with wudu, they say we start with the hand. La. That washing of the hand is before you put it into a bucket, as they used to have in that time. Or nowadays, you could just wash your hand quickly before you wash your face, but it's not part of the wudu. When you wash your face, you start with where? The hand to the elbow after washing your face. So now with wudu, the kayfiyatul wudu. Can I start with my foot before my face? Now, someone's asking a question. I don't understand. What's that?
Question will come in a question and answer, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. طيب. Sorry, my microphone is muted by your side. Okay, it's okay? You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, barakallah feek. Naam. So it has to be according to Sharia in kayfiyah, in terms of how. Also, it has to be according to Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of the amount. For example, we've mentioned amount, the time, the numbers. We've mentioned
the manner.
Kayfiyah, we've mentioned. Fifthly, in terms of the time. So, for example, a person plays salah, which many people do before its time. So I'm going out, for example, I think, you know what, if I've got my dhuhr and asr, I'm going to pray dhuhr before time of dhuhr. You can't do that. You cannot pray the salah before its time. Likewise, a person sacrifices before Salatul Eid, the obligatory sacrifice, not accepted. Okay? Or a person purposely wakes up for Fajr, not mistakenly wakes up for Fajr after, or prays Fajr after the sunrise, it is rejected because of the time. Number 6, it has to be according to the Sharia in terms of the place. So for example, i'tikaf. For those who don't hold the opinion that it has to be thalatha masajid, a person has to do i'tikaf in where? In the masjid or masajid. And not where? Not in their house. You can't do i'tikaf in your house. So any act of worship has to be according to Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. in accordance to these 6 issues. And anything which is not according to these 6 issues, it is therefore what? It's a bid'ah. It is an innovation. Also, other than this, the issues which are covered, not only with that which is a bid'ah, but with that which is mukhalifan, as we mentioned. Not only issues which is an increase upon the Sharia, the issues which are also what? Which are mukhalifan, which are contrary to the Sharia. Issues, sinful issues, such as a person trading after the second adhan of Jum'ah, such as, and I mentioned this, such as a person marrying somebody or marriage that takes place without the permission of the wali, without the permission of the guardian. The guardian, if he's a Muslim, is the father. What if the father, as is claimed, sometimes is a racist, is not suitable? Let's even say he's not suitable. People go and they get married. They just choose a wakil, a random person. Is that how it works? No. If the father is not suitable, then the next in line. What's the next in line after the father? The son. Some people, they have a father, okay, he's useless, so they claim. The son, not just son, they have brothers. They jump all those. They have uncles who are Muslim. And you find some imam to do the nikah. Wal-iyadu billah. This now, is it a bid'ah or is it against the Sharia? Against the Sharia. Is it covered in a hadith? Na'am. Laysa alayhi amruna. It's not upon our issue. From those issues is divorcing your wife or person divorcing a wife while she's on her menses. However, though, Uthaymeen rahimahullah azza wa jal mentions it as a point that some scholars, when people made that upon themselves, they accept it as being, and I mention it here now, that people that divorce their wives when they're on their menses, thinking la yaqa, it doesn't occur. According to some scholars, it occurs. So people do not become complacent, oh, she was on her menses, because you find some ignorant common folks that know nothing of the deen. When it comes to divorce, out of desire, oh, she was on her menses. Oh, I was angry. I was upset at the time. Some ulama, whether you were angry, whether she was on her menses, whether you did talaq, thalath, meaning you divorced her 3 times in one sitting, you're divorced, they say yaqa. They say it occurs. So Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah azza wa jalla mentioned as a side issue that don't become complacent. That some scholars, although it's not in accordance to Sharia, they accept it. لَمَّا أَلْزَمُوا أَنفُسَهُم. When they obligated upon themselves, so I say, you know what, even Tama Umar, is to accept it. طيب. Also, from this hadith, we could draw 2 important principles. The first principle we want to memorize, inshallah, al-aslu fil ashya al-hil. The root of everything other than ibadah is that it's permissible. And the proof of that is the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا, is the one that created everything upon the face of the earth, لكم, for you. واللام هنا للنفع, for benefit, for your own benefit. So the root, al-asl fil ashya al-hil. So if I have this watch, for example, and somebody says, what is the proof it's permissible to wear this watch? Who needs to bring the proof of its permissibility? Do I need to bring the proof of the permissibility, or somebody needs to bring the proof of the impermissibility? Somebody needs to bring the proof of impermissibility, because the root of all things is halal. Your car, for example, somebody said, what's the dalil that it's halal to drive your car with leather seats in there? The one that's claiming it's haram has to bring the proof, because the root is what? Al-aslu fil ashya, the root of all things is halal. I want to do a particular type of business, and the person is haram. What is the root? What's the proof? I don't have to bring the proof. The person saying haram has to bring a proof. And on the flip side, al-aslu fil ibadat al-mana, the root or the origin of act of worship is impermissible unless there's a proof. Oh, al-ibadah tawqifiyya. Ibadah is something on pause unless you have proof. Therefore, if I'm doing a particular act of ibadah and a person says to me, it is not permissible, who needs to bring the proof? I or the person? I that's doing the act of ibadah. Why? Because before you do any act of ibadah, you have to have proof for it. You have to have proof. Or let's even say it's an act of ibadah. It's an act of worship, but I'm doing it at a particular time, all the time. Like after every salah, I say, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, after every salah. Or every time I enter my house, I pray 2 rak'ah. Every time I enter my house. Every time I enter the masjid, I say, Allahu Akbar. These are all acts of ibadah that has a basis. But I'm doing it at specific times, specific places, in a specific manner. I need to bring proof of that. I say, let's all fast for Palestine. Fasting is an act of ibadah. But for Palestine, is there proof for this? No. Or for any of the tragedies that's happened to the Muslims around the world. But yet, these are two important aspects. Okay? So whatever we do, ما عملنا أن الشرع شرعه من العبادة فيكون مشروعا. Whatever we do from the Sharia, it has to be legislated. Number 2, whatever we do that the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal has prohibited, it becomes impermissible. And number 3, whatever we don't know from acts of worship, what is the ruling of that one? Mamnu', is still impermissible. As for other than that, from mu'amalat, deals and transactions, the root of it is what? Is permissible. So whatever we know from the Sharia that is permitted by the Sharia, it is halal. And what we know that the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited, it is haram. And that which we don't know, we have knowledge of, the Sharia is permitted or not permitted, is what as well? Ibaha. It is permissible. Barakallahu feekum. We stop here, inshallah, for any questions.
Jazakumullah khair, Shaykhuna. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your time. We got quite a lot of questions here asking, imagine, especially regarding the wudu. People were a bit surprised.
It wasn't even a topic, to be honest with you. It was just a side issue, to be honest.
It's a side issue, but that's what. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my. Someone asked to answer most of the question. If you can just explain the steps and the pillars and the sunnah of wudu. So if you can benefit from that, then the next questions will follow, inshallah.
That the person mentioned before, a person mentioned a niyyah, intention. Because depending on the intention, it affects whatever comes out. And this is for every act of worship. So for example, I'm feeling very hot, or I'm angry, as sunnah is to make wudu. So I'm feeling hot, I'm angry, whatever it is, I go to do what? Just make wudu. Okay? But I've not made wudu with the intention of what? For the salah. I could not pray with that wudu, okay? So the first thing, an-niyyah. Just like ghusl, I get up in the morning, I just want to have a redox moment or whatever. I just shower, right? The intention for ghusl may not be there. So أول شيء النية. ثم ثانيا التسمية. بسم الله. As Allah Ta'ala mentions the steps in the Quran, is what? Start with your what? You wash your face. Now, washing of the face, the mouth and the nose is considered to be from the what? The face. So even though the mouth and the face is not mentioned in the ayah, but when you look at the sifat of the wudu of the Prophet sallam, yastanshiqu, wastinshar, istinshaq, wastinshar. He washes his face and he will wash his nose, which is why some ulama, they say when it comes to ghusl is just to pour water over your whole body. But some ulama say no. Al-famu wal-anf min al-wajhi. The nose and the mouth is from, even if you're not going to make the wudu or follow the complete steps of the sunnah of afwan ghusl, put water in your mouth and your nose and wash your whole body, khalas. So you put water in your mouth and your nose, okay? After that, you do what? Your hand. Your hand, starting from where? Your hand here. Your hand here all the way to what? Ila al-marafiq. Yes? So don't mistake it that when you start wudu, what people do, they wash their hand. That washing of the hand is a sunnah that's not part of the wudu, the pillars of wudu. Because as we explained, in those days, they used to have a bucket or container that they would do what? Purify their hand before they put their hand in the bucket. But if you also start wudu now, you open your tap and you wash your face. Without doing this, you've started your wudu. After, of course, the intention and tasmiyah. You started with the face and then your hand. Yes. Now, after your hand, what do you wash? None.
Go for your head.
Sorry?
After your hand, then you go to your hair. No? Is that part? Is that sunnah?
Okay. نعم. وامسحوا. نعم. You do مسح. Yeah?
Do what?
نعم. المسح is not الغسل. This is the difference is here. You wipe over your head. The wiping of the head, yes, is to wipe, not to wash. Yes, wiping of the head. Now, in terms of wiping of the head, from here, من مقدم الرأس إلى مؤخر الرأس, and you come back again. According to the madhab, you follow. According to al-rajih. Some other madhahib, they say even if you do like this, it's accepted. Some other madhahib from here. So if you go to the masjid, according to what madhab somebody follows, if he does this, don't think he's doing something crazy. He does this, na'am. From what you know most of the sunnah, somebody does this at the Shafi'i, don't think so. You wipe your head. Okay? The same water, which you, or same hand you used to wipe your head, you use for your what? Your ears. Then you wash your feet. And do remember here, when I'm saying washing is not the same as wiping. Some people, they have very little water and they go like this all over their skin with the water. No, I'm not saying use excessive water, but what would be considered to be washing and not wiping. Somebody else was asking a question, what is first, the nose or the mouth? If you could do both at one, aqrab ila sunnah, closer to the sunnah. Nose and mouth at the same time. But if you can't, nose and then the what? Oh, sorry, the mouth and then the what? The nose. Yes, and then you wash your face. Now.
There's quite a lot of questions. Apologies in advance if maybe.
Now, do you want more? Because tomorrow work day, wallah.
I know. So please. That's quite a lot. Okay. Yeah, relating to the actual topic of discussion. Good and bad bid'ah. What is the ruling regarding this statement? Is there a basis for this statement? Anything?
No, there's a basis for this statement in the sense that it's important to define things because حكم على شيء فرع من تصوره. A ruling of something is only a small branch of it. You have to first and foremost define that thing. What is the definition of bid'ah? First to know whether it is good or bad. Definition of bid'ah or anything in the Sharia is defined in two ways. According, number one, linguistic meaning, and also the Sharia meaning of scientific or technical meaning. Al-bid'ah lughatan. Bid'ah linguistically is what? Something newly invented or something, for example, subhanAllah, that doesn't have something that preceded it. Okay? And according to the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is something, as we mentioned, that a person does that has no basis in the Sharia with the intentional worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So according to the statement of Prophet ﷺ, when he was speaking linguistically, kullu bid'atin dalala. Every bid'ah is a dalala by this definition. And every dalala is in the hellfire. There's no good bid'ah. Now people bring the statement of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in when he saw the people praying Taraweeh after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, this is bid'ah hasana. The statement of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, if you carry in the scales of the Sharia, were the Sahaba doing something that had no basis at all? No. What were they doing? They were doing something that was done in the time of the Prophet ﷺ with the approval of the Prophet ﷺ. However, he feared by them continuing or in continuing what happened, it will become obligated upon them. So when Umar said bid'ah hasana, it's from a linguistic point of view. Yes, but it has a basis in the Sharia. But in the Sharia scale, there's no such thing as bid'ah hasana. Kullu bid'atin sayyi'ah. Every bid'ah is an evil. Every bid'ah is haram. There's no good bid'ah. All bid'ah is dalala. All dalala, all going astray is in the hellfire. There's no good bid'ah at all. Whether that bid'ah is in action, such as people remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, with the domiru ha, he said Allah ha, as the Sufi do. Or that bid'ah is dhikr jama'i, unified remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. So Sa'ad Habib Jeffrey, and I forgot what his other one, his name is, subhanallah, these Sufis from Yemen that have gatherings, and the Prophet attend their gathering. Whether it's bid'ah in mu'amalat, in deeds, whether it's bid'ah in statements or in belief, all of it is a munkar, it's an evil. Barakallahu fikum.
I promise you, I won't
No.
delay longer than 5 more minutes. 2 more questions. One, in regards to the conditions of bid'ah. Conditions, steps. You mentioned the adad and everything, the type. Do you need to meet all these 6 things? For example, you mentioned the reason for the action, the type, the amount, manner, kayfiyya, time, place. Do you need to make sure that every single box, like every box are ticked?
Of course, but let me give you an example now. Sadaqah, charity, not the obligatory charity such as zakah. When it comes to zakah, it has a specific time. When the specific time of zakah?
When you reach the nisab.
No, time.
Type of zakah.
Time.
After 1 year?
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan. After 1 year. Some people think it's just after every Ramadan. No. Most people pay that because they remember. They start the calculation from there. وَإِذَا حَالَ الْحَوْلِ, if the year is complete, and so certain types of zakah, it doesn't need a completion of the year, like arud al-tijara from trade. Anyway, so non-obligatory zakah, like sadaqah. You're giving sadaqah. Now, whatever you do, your intention in terms of the sabab, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the place, is there a specific place to give a sadaqah? No. Is there a specific time to give sadaqah? No. Is there a specific way to give sadaqah? No. It only comes a bid'ah in these issues if you say, for example, sadaqah, you regulate a time or stipulate a time and you stick to that time, but it has no basis in Sharia. For example, Laylatul Qadr, or what some people might be the odd nights of Laylatul Qadr, that every 27th night you decide that I'm going to give sadaqah. This day or this night has a special place, but to specify sadaqah for that night only, regularly, does it have a basis in the Sharia? It doesn't have a basis. Some people want to go Umrah on the 27th night. Umrah, mashallah, is good, 27th night. But doing it does it have a basis? No. Do you understand it now? That is when a person, he adds a time or a place that is not legislated. Because not every single thing that you do have to have those ticks. But you have to make sure when you stipulate in a time, a place, a manner, it has a basis in what? In the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you understand now?
No.
Now, it's the stipulation of a time or place. For example, Jum'ah. Jum'ah is a blessed day, right? For me to specify dua, or for me to specify doing salah upon the Prophet ﷺ, does this have a basis to increase upon salah upon someone Jum'ah? Does it have a basis?
No.
It does. So it's not a bid'ah. But, and the ulama, they differ on this issue. So I don't want you to be too like shadid. The issue of Jum'ah Mubarakah, sending dua to people on Jum'ah only. Does this have a basis? Say Fawzan and others, but I say no. Because you're making dua. Where's the base? Although Jum'ah is a special date, where's the basis for dua specifically? If you take it as a dua, where some people say it's a greeting, but let's take it as a dua. Does this have a basis in the Sharia? No. So again, when you're doing any act, when you stipulate a time, a place, a number, make sure that stipulation has a what? A basis. Barakallahu fiik.
And the last question, which is 2 in 1. How about if you're in the toilet, in hammam, and you want to do wudu? The basmala, does it need to be, how do you go about it? And for those of us that are used to washing our hands, Is it something we need to stop or?
No, you can continue. Sunnah, you can wash your hands before washing your face. Just make sure when you do wash your hands after your face, you start from the hand to the elbow, and don't start from the wrist to the elbow.
Yani don't assume that you've already washed the hand and then okay.
No.
And then the basmala, if you're in the
The basmala, wallahi, some people say you say it, one or two things. Just before enter the bathroom, bismillah, you make wudu. Some say you could say in the bathroom, because not every bathroom is a toilet. Do you understand? Not every bathroom is a what? A toilet. And I don't follow this opinion, of course. The modern day toilets, whereby people flush the whole thing, it's not like in the past where Baytul Khala was like whatever was there, the shalanga, as we say in Nigeria, which is a latrine, or those places where the poo or the impurity is still there. You understand? They say it's not the same, but the safer thing, say Bismillah before you enter the bathroom and start your wudu. No.
I think that marked the end of the Q&A. Jazakumullah khair, Abu Haneefa.
Barakallah.
Inshallah, reward you for your time. And we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala count us among those that listen, learn, and implement it in our daily lives. On that note, we say Jazakumullah khair to all fellow students that are listening. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
جزاكم الله خير.